Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're talking about something way bigger than just hoarding social media followers. If you're totally burned out by the internet content grind, just endlessly chasing views but not feeling any real connection, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to take all that exhaustion and transform it into a space of genuine, meaningful belonging.
So let's dive into this crucial shift in perspective. A following? Well, that's really just a group of passive consumers. They're people who see your content purely because some algorithm served them a post. But they become a true community when that dynamic completely flips. It's when they actually start recognizing each other, contributing their own ideas, and returning because they know their presence actually matters. That difference is quite literally everything.
Today, we're walking through a highly practical masterclass on how to actually foster that belonging. We're going to cover following versus true community, defining your core purpose, using content as your front door, choosing platforms, and we'll wrap up with a straightforward 30-day launch plan. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, following versus true community. Here's the absolute best news right out of the gate. You do not need to be famous or have some massive audience to do this. A community can be built around, honestly, almost anything. Animal rescue, local history, cooking, writing, environmental projects, even an absolute obsession with vintage clocks. It really just requires 3 things: a reason to gather, something valuable to share, and a welcoming space to actually participate. The very best communities just start with someone raising their hand and saying, "Hey, this matters to me. Who else cares?"
Moving right along to section 2, defining your core purpose.
Okay, before you even think about software or servers or, designing fancy logos, you've got to build the foundation. I want you to do a quick exercise in your head right now. Ask yourself, who is this space actually for? What problem or hope connects them? And absolutely most importantly, why would they want to return? Because if you can't answer why they'd come back, well, you simply aren't ready to build yet. A strong community purpose really doesn't need to be some multi-page manifesto. It usually fits perfectly into one single guiding sentence. Take this for example. This is a community for local artists to share their work, encourage one another, and become more visible. Look at how brilliant that is. It tells you exactly who it's for, what happens there, and what the ultimate benefit is. It's simple, it's clear, and it's super inviting.
Which brings us to section 3, content as your front door.
So once you have that crystal clear purpose, how in the world do people actually find you? Well, think about it like this. An article isn't just content. It can actually become the literal front door to your community. You use public writing to answer the exact questions people are already searching for online. They find your article, they resonate with your voice, and then, through that piece of content, they walk straight into a welcoming space where people with that exact same interest are already hanging out. To write these pieces without sounding like a dry, boring academic textbook, try using this simple 5-step formula. Number 1, build curiosity with a really strong title. 2, open with the reason it matters, maybe tell a quick story. 3, share the actual useful info. 4, ask a genuine question to invite a response. And then, the absolute most crucial part, step 5, offer a next step. This is your invitation. Simply saying something like, "Hey, join our free community to get future articles and chat with us," perfectly bridges that gap.
Let's transition over to section 4, choosing the right platform.
Now, remember, software doesn't build communities. People do. But the right tools definitely help organize the space. Let's look at the ecosystem here. Medium acts kind of like a public library. It's great for public discoverability to help new readers find you. Substack is essentially for email delivery. It's a newsletter with a website attached. Patreon combines content and community, giving members a real place to belong. And a personal website? Well, that gives you full control as your permanent brand home. You can syndicate content across all of these, but definitely pick just one as your main community hub so you don't burn yourself out.
As you set up this home base, especially on platforms like Patreon, you'll see options for free and paid tiers. The philosophy to keep in mind here is super straightforward. Free members receive genuine connection and useful info, while paid members receive additional access, depth, and support. Always start entirely for free. Build that value and connection first. And remember, a paid tier should never, ever strip away the basic dignity or usefulness of your free community. The rule is always free first, paid later. All right, let's get into the execution. Section 5, your 30-day launch plan.
You really don't need to overcomplicate this. We're keeping it to a very simple 4-week chronological rhythm. Week 1 is all about building the foundation. Pick your name and set up the page. Week 2, you add value. Publish your first few posts and resources. Why? Because you absolutely do not want to invite people into a completely empty room in Week 3.
So week 3 is when you finally swing those doors open, invite people, and share the links. And finally, week 4 is all about creating connection, responding to people, greeting them, and asking what they want to see next.
Now, once they actually arrive, keep this in mind. Just posting more content does not equal community. True engagement requires active facilitation from you. Don't just ask generic stuff like, what do you guys think? Ask specific questions like, which of these 3 ideas are you trying out this week? Respond to people, use their names, introduce members to each other, and celebrate their participation publicly. When you let members contribute a story or a tip, they start taking real ownership of the space.
Ultimately, building a true community is about finally stepping off that exhausting hamster wheel of collecting passive followers. Success is no longer just about how many eyeballs are on you. Instead, I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful question to ask yourself. What can we build together that none of us could build alone? Start with that, and you're going to build something absolutely unstoppable. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I seriously can't wait to see the communities you bring to life.